presenters to speak about this topic. First, this is Santoshini. I'm from Mastec with 3+ years of technical experience.
Hi, I'm Niveta. I'm from Mastec. I have 3+ year Salesforce technical experience.
And so now let's start into the session. So today's agenda is introduction to CLM, DocuSign Agreement Cloud, document generation, workflow and signing, negotiation and collaboration, reporting, and best practices to be followed with workflow. Introduction. Introduction to CLM. So basically, the CLM stands for Contract Lifecycle Management. A typical contract lifecycle has various phases, which starts with the request for the contract and that continues with the creation of a document, which proceeds through the lifecycle of review and negotiations, and then it is approved by the approvers. Next, modification for the document is done, and it is routed for the for signature. And the process ends with the completion phase, which fulfills the term of the contract. So this contracting process can be complex, inefficient, and also costly. Here, the DocuSign CLM comes in as a solution to make this process easier, faster, and less risky. The DocuSign CLM can also organize documents, automate contracts, and customize agreements as per needs with just few clicks. So this DocuSign CLM also provides an AI and analytical tools that helps us to work more efficiently. Prerequisites. In order to experience this DocuSign CLM, we need to first install the DocuSign CLM package and then connect that with the Salesforce. And the package can be installed from the Salesforce App Exchange. And then you need to have a DocuSign CLM account. This DocuSign CLM account can also access the e-signature and admin accounts. So here is the DocuSign Agreement Cloud. This DocuSign Agreement Cloud is a stage and space that helps to connect and automate the entire agreement process. It is classified into different phases. So prepare, sign, act, and manage phase. The process of generating agreement in DocuSign CLM with high level of automation and also building conditional logics for for the document and pre-filling the agreement with data where needed and guiding the signers throughout the document all comes under the phase of prepare. Sign phase, signing the document electronically in a quick and secure manner with automated routing and identification of the signer comes under the signing phase. These all are done using the DocuSign e-signature. Act phase, it is like acting upon the document after signature. So we can also update the other system, the connected system with the data automatically in this act phase. Manage. The DocuSign CLM allows us to generate reports on the account activities, which tracks the status and usage of the generated document. So this document generation. The document generation is a CLM feature that merges the collected bits of information from various resources needed for the contract into a single final agreement document in DocuSign CLM. So there are various steps involved in generating an automated document in DocuSign CLM. The first is the document template. So document template basically is a template contract template. So first for that we need to create a Word document which contains the basic content of the standard contract that also serves as a template. And for the dynamic informations, we can add, we can have reserved places which will be pulled from the other resources. So the DocuSign admin has a document template feature from where this prepared contract template can be uploaded into the DocuSign CLM. We have a merge tag functionality in CLM, which acts as a major which acts as a major thing that pulls in dynamical information into the agreement cloud. This merge tag will be added to the reserved space in the agreement cloud. This merge tag will be designed from the CLM form. So document generation form. This document CLM has an option to generate a form which has a list of fields and that can be also enabled to use in Salesforce. This form fields will pull information from the Salesforce object fields or also the values can be provided by the end user. This fields has a merge tag code which will be added to the agreement to populate the dynamic informations. Document generation configuration. This document generation configuration is a process in DocuSign CLM that ties the created CLM form, template, and the further created workflow into a single configuration to process the agreement document. The next workflows will be explained by the Niveta.
Hi. DocuSign CLM workflow is a scalable tool that enables an organization process automation to grow as their contract lifecycle management requirements expand. The workflow sets the paths and conditional logic for the agreement document to be routed and fulfill the terms of the agreement. The CLM admin tab has a new workflow button that opens a canvas that with various workflow steps. A workflow step is a parameter passed via a variable. The workflow can be designed by dragging and dropping the various workflow steps and declaring workflow variables that build a flow for an agreement document. Once the workflow is completed, we need to configure the workflow using document configuration. Workflow and signing. DocuSign CLM makes the signature process seamlessly by enabling you to sign agreement electronically with help of DocuSign signature. The stage encompasses who sends and signs the document, how those individuals are identified, and how evidence is captured. The signing experience can be triggered automatically as part of the workflow process or manually. Negotiation and collaboration. This negotiation is the core part of the agreement lifecycle. Accepting and rejecting modification and sending back through review cycles are necessary part of negotiation. It occurs when an agreement is sent to a legal or reviewer for markups, edits, and comments. DocuSign CLM enables you to collaborate externally with third parties to capture feedback easily. The system can automatically highlight modification when the agreement is written. In addition, when the negotiation and collaboration is kicked off as a part of the workflow, it is easy to be altered if the third party has not responded in an appropriate length of time. The URL The URL from the document generation configuration can be set in a custom button in a Salesforce object and can be placed in an object layout. Reporting. DocuSign CLM provides information to gather and analyze data from CLM. CLM prepares report that can be used to define and track progress and on a contractual agreement, thus monitoring business activities towards achieving your business goals. DocuSign CLM reports are categorized in two different types based on your business needs. Document reports. Document reports lists your report on document information. The document report returns a list of documents and then associated attributes based on your criteria. Document activity report displays action taken on a document such as attribute change and a document update. You can view and uh, download document activity when the activity occurred and the user that completed the activity. Workflow reports. Workflow reports only includes workflow that contain human steps. Fully automated process are not included in the report. There are four types of workflow report. Workflow overview report gives an information such as workflow capability, completion time, and process failure. Workflow process report gives an information about both your primary workflow and your individual sub workflow. Workflow step report gives an information of each step. You can see how long a step took, who completes the step, and step comments. Workflow summary report gives a summary of how well your workflow are performing. User reports. The user's report lets CLM administrator view information about their DocuSign CLM account. The report allows users status, dedicated permission, and group membership. Standard reports. The standard reports are available to a CLM administrator and user when party management is enabled in a CLM account by a CLM administrator.
S- Use case. So now we can see an use case for an organization, which will be demonstrated in the next process. So now let's consider an organization as having its CRM details like the vendor information and their sales opportunity in a Salesforce. And they want their sales representative to generate a vendor contract from a Salesforce object using a standard template agreement. So they also have a standard template for their agreement, and they want the Salesforce representatives to generate the contract for their vendor. So once the Salesforce representatives generated the document, they want this document to be routed to a legal reviewer of their organization. That legal reviewer has the ability to negotiate the document and choose the document to send for an internal review or for an external review. And then the document for and then the legal can send this document for e-signature once the reviewers have approved the document, or else the legal can reject the document and end the workflow. So this is the requirement of this organization. And now let's see a quick demo of this use case.
So the vendor throws the sales opportunity in an opportunity object in Salesforce. I've added a custom button called create contract, which will generate the contract. I'm going to generate a contract for this sales opportunity. When clicking create contract, it would redirect to the DocuSign CLM page where we need to generate the document. These are the pre-populated values that have been captured from the Salesforce. We can modify changes based on our needs. So these fields will be displayed in the contract. Once these form is completed, I would get the document with the populated value. So as you could see, the blue color highlighted area are the data that were captured from the form. So once this form is generated, I'm clicking save. A task will be created for the legal for selecting the next action. So once I click the task, the legal has the right to choose the action based on his wish to send the contract. So now I'm going to send the contract for an external for a review. You could see the attributes have been populated here and the task is here. When I click next, the legal need to choose an external reviewer whom we need to send the document. So here we can type in the email or we can select an contact that we have given in the admin tab. So I've given the external reviewer. I can add a message here. Once I click send, a mail will be generated to the external reviewer. So once the mail is sent, you will receive an email from the illegal stating that please review this document. So I'm going to review this document online. The external can review this document, and if he wishes to make any changes, he could download this copy and make a change and upload back this document. This is called the negotiation or collaboration of a contract. So I'm going to make some changes in the document, which will be reflected back to the legal. So I don't want this part. So I'm removing this and saving the document. Once the document is saved, I'm uploading back the document. Once I complete finish, again a task will be created for a legal. Now the legal can see the modification made by the external by clicking the compare here. So as you can see, these lines were removed from by the external. So these had been highlighted by red. So once the legal again has reviewed, he could send this document for the e-signature. This process is done using DocuSign e-signature. So I have set a signing order. First, the external needs to sign the document. Then the internal needs to sign the document. So now the external has been chosen. So I'm adding the signature field and the date sign field for the external. Adding the signature and the date sign field for the internal. Once I click send, the first external will get an email to say the document first. So as you can see here, the external is receiving an email to review and sign the document. Once the internal is signed, the external will sign the document. So the internal has received the document to sign. As you could see, the external signature has been updated in the document and the date sign also has been updated. Now the internal is signing, and once I complete the finish button, I will have the document stored in the CLM, or we can save it in the Salesforce object. I'm also updating the Salesforce object contract status as signed. As that's it, the end user flow will be like this. The explanation of workflow will be continued by Santoshi.
Okay. So for now, we have seen how the end user access this contract document. Let's see how this has been built in technical point of view. As soon as you log into the DocuSign CLM account, you will have this app launcher. From there, you can choose the DocuSign CLM, which brings you into the DocuSign CLM interface. It has many tabs. Now, our main focus will be on this admin tab. So when clicking on this admin tab, you in your left panel, you have some options like document generation and workflow. These two plays the major role in this workflow. So first I'm just clicking the document generation. This document generation has few subtabs which says configuration, forms, form library, and settings. So in this, first we can see about the forms. I'm just clicking the form tab. There you can see a button called create form. This button helps you to create a form. And here you can name the form. You can name the form as per your need, and you can enable this checkbox in order to use this form in the Salesforce. And you also need to choose the object from which Salesforce object you would like to trigger this form. Once after this, if you click next, it will open you into the form interface. Let me open you the form which we have used for this current workflow. So this is the form which we built for this current workflow. You could remember, I guess, when the Niveta clicks this contract create contract button, we were opened with a form there, which she had filled a few field values, and which for some few fields were pre-populated from the Salesforce. That was designed here. So you can drag from this add field button, you can just click and add the data type which you want. And then once the data type is added, by clicking this, you will have this property window left side. From there, you can just name the field. And if you would like to link this field to a Salesforce object field, you can enable this link to Salesforce field button. And then you can choose from which field you would like to link. So you can see the options of the objects here, right? From there, for this customer name, I have chosen the account name field. So like this, you can add as much as fields you require, and you can link that fields with Salesforce. If you would think that the value needs to be provided by the end user and you don't want it to be populated from the Salesforce, you can just leave it this blank, and during the flow, the user can add value to it. And also, if you would like to have some hidden fields in the form, you can add this section and enable this section and add drag and drop those fields into this section, which will not be shown in the form, but it has a backend functionality. And merge tags. This is the major role in this document template. So if we have a form, if various fields here, right? We can also get a merge tag code for each fields. If you would like to add this customer name field to a template, then you can get the merge tag for that customer name field, this code. You can copy this and paste it in the document, which we said during the explanation. We discussed like merge fields and reserved display places, right? So this is the reserved place of the template, and I'm adding the merge tag for the customer name here. So this displays the account name during a contract cycle. So we have various merge tags and various fields added as per need in between the contract. So this is the work of the merge tags. Once you have configured your forms and you have copied your merge tags, you can just click save, and this form will be getting saved under this form section. So next comes the template. In order to create a template, you first need to click this add configuration button. Once this click add configuration is open, you will have an option called template. From here, add button, and you can create a template. Next, here you can add the template as per your need, and then you need to link the form which you have created for your use case and the document template which you have created. So as we said, we will have a local template and we will be uploading it to the DocuSign CLM, right? So that is the one here, right? You can select a file and upload the template which you have locally here, and you can select the file and you can just add the form which you have created for this. So this is how it works. Once after you are choosing the form, you can just form and template, you can just click save, and it will be connected. So for now, I'm just opening the configuration template which I have built for this workflow. Once the template is added, you can choose the workflow. The workflow will be created further, and you can click launch workflow, and you can choose the workflow which you want to trigger as part of this configuration. And you can choose the DocuSign CLM folder from where you need to save this forms and configurations. Once that is done, you can click save, and here ends the template and configuration process. So next is the workflow. You can just click this workflow tab here, and you have an option called new workflow, and from there you can choose advanced workflow. Once clicking this advanced workflow, the same you have option to name your workflow, and it opens a canvas. See, name the workflow, and from where you would like to trigger this workflow. I would like to trigger this workflow from the document generation configuration. Else, if I wanted to trigger from a folder, I can choose a folder. So these are the options available from where we would like to kick off this workflow. I'm just using a document generation configuration, and also I can add the configuration which I have created for this use case over here. So this also, I'm going to open the one which we had. See, which we have built for this workflow. This sales contract legal workflow is the one which we had built for this use case. So I'm just opening that workflow. It will open you a canvas like this. And from there, you have various step elements and variables. Using this, you can drag and drop and assign variables, and you can build a complete workflow. This, okay, I'm just zooming in. Okay. First, we will say about this lane. In the workflow steps, we have an option called lane. It just acts as a divider or section, which separates the workflow step elements in order to arrange them in a clear way. So you can drag and drop this, and you can just give it a name, and you can choose a color and such things. can just name the lane and you can choose color. It is just a section. And then we have two basic elements for this workflow. The start element, which determines where the flow starts, and the finish element, which says the flow has ended. So first of all, what we are going to do here is we are going to update all variables in the first as a first step. And then we are going to assign those variables to attribute document attributes as the second step. And then from here, we have a rule. So as in the first step, what we are going to update is we used to have a step called update variable value. We have various steps in this workflow, each has their unique purpose. Now I'm just going to drag and drop this update variable value. So this update variable value has been placed here, and I have added the form values to the workflow values. So in order to add the form values into the workflow, you first need to create a variable in the workflow. For that, you can just click create a variable, and then you can choose at what data type you would like to create, and you can name them. And clicking save will create a variable. So for this, I have just chosen customer name variable, this customer name variable, and I'm assigning the value in the form to this variable. So clicking here will display all the form fields. You can choose a form field to which value you want to populate to this customer name. And then this is the customer name information. So this customer name information is done through the update information step. What it does is that the name, the variable added to the workflow is populated here. This populates this name in the document preview window. You would have seen right in the document preview window information section, you would have seen the name of the customer. So that is done because of this step. And we need to store the document under a particular folder in DocuSign CLM, right? For that, you can use this create folder step from the workflow. You can drag and drop and provide the name for the folder and the URL from where you would like to store the document. And then this step creates the folder, and this step moves the document into the particular folder. So you can select the option move, and this document params is like we are giving access or referring a document to which document we are referring. So this comes under this document param. And next, once after we are assigning the variables, we are passing all these variables to the document attribute. Okay, so this for this I'm just we are using the same update variable value step. Now we are passing the workflow variables into the document parameters. Okay, we are in this step we are going to bring the form values into the workflow, and in this next step document metadata we are going to bring this workflow values to the document attribute. So this the values which has been passed here, the attribute and this effective date new variable will be shown in the preview windows attribute column. So you can see here this under this attribute section you have various field values populated, right? All these are done because of this update document metadata variable step. And then you have an optional CSV step. If you would like to make any changes to the workflow, to any values of this workflow without touching or editing the workflow, you can use the CSV file upload, and you can make the changes to the CSV file and you can upload. Here we have used two departments like HR and legal review. The use case is designed for the legal review and HR. If you would like to change the values of the department and you would not like to touch the workflow, you can add the department variable values to this CSV file. And from there, once you update the CSV file, the values will be updated here. So that is the purpose of this update variable. Next comes in the rule. As I said, we have various departments, right? I'm just setting the rule here to check whether the record is for the legal or HR. If that is true, then we will follow a different path which goes to the legal, internal reviewer and external reviewer. If it is some other department, we have different workflow which says just update the keyword, update Salesforce, and just approve. So this is the purpose of this work rule set property. So our scenario is to see about the legal review. Next, so it navigates us to the legal. Here we have document visibility step. This step just is the step which we give access to the document. So the legal must have some access to view and edit the document, right? That access has been given by this step. And then once that is success, here comes the legal choice. We would have seen from the task, we have different choice for the legal, whether he wants to send to the legal internal review, external review, or approve or reject. We saw many options, like those options are configured through this choice step. Once if the legal has choose for the external internal review, it directs us to this flow. So here we will update the Salesforce. Like we have a contract status field in Salesforce, which will be updated for each step. At this case, it will be updated like send for review. This is the which field we need to update and what value we need to update. Okay, this step does that. And here the document keyword. This document keyword is also a thing that updates the given value in the preview panel. And then once this update is done, it will choose user whom you are willing to choose as an internal reviewer. You can add the user information here from this choose user step. And then internal review. This step is the process that to give access to the document. And once the access to document is done, the internal reviewer can choose to complete the document or reject the document. Whatever process they are doing, that will be also routed back to the legal as per the design. And if the document is approved by the internal reviewer and the legal thinks to send it to the external, so he can send it to the external. So this send for external review, this part will be followed and it will come for the external reviewer. So again, from this external review, it updates the Salesforce, it updates the document keyword, and it choose whom we want to select as a reviewer. So this step does this. Review and send for external review, right? So we are choosing whom we want to send this to review. And then they can also choose to review the document or they can reject the document. If they reviewed the document and they completed the document with review with the document or without document, these will be updated to the legal again. So for that update, we are using a update variable value again, and we are then updating it to the legal. If it is approved, the legal will choose the path to send it for signature. So here in the signature, you will have the review and send for signature step, from where you says we can say to whom we want to send this for the review. We can choose the recipient, we can choose a subject and message, what message you want to send during the signature process, and document, and choose the which document you are going to send for signature. So these all steps will be done in this review or send for signature. Once that is sent for review, if it is success, then the send for signature message will be sent updated to the document keyword and also to the Salesforce. Then wait for signature. In the wait for signature process is just the step which says whether the document is signed or it is rejected or it is failure. The all this will be configured in this wait for signature step. Once that is done, that all again the variable will be updated, workflow variable will be updated, and the information will be passed back to the legal. And also action, like signature action, after signing, what happens is that we will update a value again with the sign date. You have seen the sign date would have been populated in the preview panel of the document agreement document, right? That for that the value will be sent from here. You will just update the sign date, at which date they have signed, and you will update the Salesforce with the value that document has been signed. And then you will also update the attribute of the document, that is the sign date, and you will just configure under which folder the signed document should fall in. You will configure the folder here, and this step will move the folder to that particular document. So that's it about the demo. We can see the best practices of the workflow. So for the best practices of the workflow, you should not originate or terminate the lines crossly. You should not arrange workflows in a manner that you'd like to scroll the workflow both horizontally and vertically manner. It should be it should be like fit to the screen in either way. And also you should mainly you should have a finish you should have a finish step which says that the workflow ends here. And also you should have added the even space evenly between the workflow steps, that is here, right? The steps must be evenly spaced and you should not intersect these lines between one another. And also the most important thing is that you should must add a finish step which says the workflow ends confirmation to the user. That's it about this. That's it about the presentation. You can ask if you have any queries.
What is the app name? DocuSign, right? DocuSign app. What is the name of the app?
Can you come again? Sorry, we couldn't hear you.
Okay. What is the name of the app?
It's DocuSign CLM.
DocuSign CLM. Is it free of cost, or we have? Is there any subscription fee for that?
No, CLM is a paid one only.
Okay.
Or if we have an DocuSign partner with your company, we can request for an CLM account.
Oh, okay. So it's not directly an app exchange. Directly, it's not an app. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
If you want, you will be having a 30-day free version. Sorry, 30-day trial pack. You can use it, but for permanent account, it is payable.
Okay. Thank you.
So, team, any other queries? Yeah, if there is no queries, shall we wind up this session? Thank you. Thank you everyone for attending. Thank you.
Thank you, team.
Hi, Tourism.
Hi.
Shall we wind up the session? I think all most participants have left.
Yeah, we can wind up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.